Assessment Quickies, Student Learning Outcomes Assessment in 10 Easy Steps. Number 7, Collecting Assessment Evidence. Hi, my name is Michelle, and with the help of Professor Walter, we will provide answers to the most commonly asked questions. By the end of this podcast, you will be able to develop a 5-year plan for assessing student learning at the program level.
Now that we have chosen which assessment measures to use for each of our SLOs, what is the next step?
The next step is to collect samples of student work. The two most common ways are to collect work that students are already doing for a course, which is called embedded assessment, or to ask students to do something additional, some additional work that does not count toward any course or degree requirement, and this is called external assessment.
What do you mean by embedded assessment measures?
Anything a student does in a course that counts toward the course grade or that is required for obtaining the degree can be an embedded assessment measure, as long as it relates to one of the program-level student learning outcomes. These include tests, written work, performances, etc.
What are the advantages of collecting embedded evidence of student learning?
The advantages are that it's a normal part of student work for a course or a degree program. Students try harder because it counts toward their degree. There's no extra work for faculty or students, and there's no extra cost to the department. And it makes the assessment process invisible to students.
What are some external assessment measures?
The most common external assessment measures are standardized tests not taken for a course grade or degree. The problems are that these tests are optional and students may not take them seriously. Not all students will participate, so the sample may not be representative, and it may not provide examples of the student's very best work.
So we can't use any type of standardized test for assessment of student learning?
No, you can use standardized tests, but they're more likely to provide an accurate picture of student learning if they count towards the degree in some way. For example, you could use a major field test in biology or chemistry as a final exam in a required course, or as an exit exam for the degree program.
What about multi-section courses?
Okay, let's say you have multiple sections of an intro course and a basic level of learning to be assessed with an objective test. You could embed 2 or 3 questions on all the final exams across all the sections that would provide evidence of student learning on one of your SLOs. Or you could adopt the same writing requirement across all sections to assess student proficiency at written communication.
Wouldn't that generate a lot of data?
Well, first, you don't necessarily have to assess every SLO every year. And when you do assessment, you don't have to assess every student, and you certainly don't have to assess every class.
What should we do if we have a lot of students?
For large programs, use simple random sampling across all the applicable courses or sections to select student work that is relevant to the SLO being assessed.
What about small programs with only a few students?
For small programs, you can collect evidence of student work over several years and then evaluate it. For example, at the master's level, you might collect student theses for a 3-year period until you have enough for the SLO that's being assessed.
Who collects and analyzes the samples of student work?
The program should develop a 5-year plan with the SLOs to be assessed each year and assign responsibility for collecting work to a faculty member, a graduate assistant, or a staff member, whichever is appropriate.
What else does a 5-year plan show?
A 5-year plan should show when each SLO is scheduled to be assessed, what samples of student work will be collected, when and where student work will be collected, who will collect it, and who will analyze the evidence. There are many types of commercial software available that can automate the process of collecting and evaluating student work, but faculty remain the ultimate judges of the quality of student work.
Okay, once we decide on which assessment measures to use, what is the next step?
In the next Quickie, we'll explain how to plan for collecting evidence of student learning. Thanks for tuning in to this podcast.